Hello everybody, Costa here, and today I'm going to be doing the second annual Reptile collection tour, Reptile room tour. This isn't really my Reptile room, this is my bedroom. In fact, my bed is like right in front of me, but technically it is also my Reptile room because I have all my reptiles in it. But we did this last year, and I feel like I should definitely do an update because I've gotten a lot more since then. Back then I only had 3 reptiles, which was Rexette, Leonard, and Raptor, and now I have I think 6, so I've doubled my collection. Yeah, this time last year I had no idea that I'd be in this place, both reptile wise, but also just kind of what's going on in the world, and I feel like we all need a little something, just kind of get our minds off of what's actually happening right now. So why don't we just go ahead and look at all my reptiles, because I know that always makes me happier. Yeah, I think we should start with the queen of the reptile room herself, which is Rexette, right there in all of her glory. We'll get her out in a minute, but first I'm just going to kind of go over her setup. And in fact, you can see us making her setup, me and Cow King Herper, on Cow King Herper's channel. I'll put a iCard up in the corner right now. But here she is. This is her setup. She's in a 50-gallon, I think. I think it's a Zilla enclosure. I don't really know. I got it secondhand. But she is in a vivarium this time. Last year, she was not in a vivarium. She was just in one of the kind of basic kind of leopard gecko setups. But I felt like I should make it a little bit more natural. So I added some dry grass, and unfortunately my Tillandsia, which I planted, died, and a lot of my succulents also died, and Rexette's 94 grams of trampling really did not help that cause. And also on almost all my enclosures I have these awesome little Terrarium Labels, and I will be leaving a link in case you guys want to get some for yourself, because these things are awesome. I'll bring them to, like, I'm not sponsored by the way, but I will bring them to like educational outings where I do, so people can read about the reptiles and amphibians I'm presenting. So I think it's really cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually get Rexette out and talk a little bit more about her. I'm not going to spend too much time on Rexette here because you've seen her in the last reptile room, and not to mention she technically has her own whole video all about her, which is the leopard gecko care guide that I did. But she is an absolutely spectacular specimen. I love her dearly, not just as a specimen obviously, but as, like, you know, almost a friend. Yeah, I've had her. She's gonna turn 10 this year, which is great. These guys can live to 25 years or more in captivity, which is just spectacular. They make some of the best pets just in general, in my opinion. They're much better than things like dogs or cats. But she is she's quite the moody little leopard gecko, which is hilarious because she has her own little quirks about her, and she just loves coming out to explore. She loves eating. She needs to actually go on a little bit of a diet, which I have her on right now. But look at her. She's a super hypo leopard gecko as well. I didn't know that when I got her. I obviously didn't get her for genes or anything, as she's not going to be bred. She's just a pet. But she's still a beautiful leopard gecko, and I'm hoping to be able to work with some more eublepharoids at some point. In fact, probably some more in the eublepharis genus, because I've really fallen in love with these guys, but that's definitely for the future, not right now. But yeah, this is Rexette, my Eublepharis macularis, or common leopard gecko, and let's move on to the next. We're going to be going all the way down in my reptile shelving unit right here, and who is in this grow out tank right here? He is my first ever snake, and he is Inadu, my banded water snake. This 10-gallon is obviously only a grow out holding tank for him as he gets some more length and girth on him. I'm hoping to, about maybe 2.5 feet is when I will transfer him to a full-on vivarium, which is it's gonna be a paludarium, probably a 30-gallon or more. I'm very excited to make that, but he's still just a little noodle right now, so he would totally get lost in it. And he's the one reptile that I have who does not have that label that I was talking about earlier, because the website that I found actually does not have a banded water snake label. So as soon as they make that, I will definitely be getting it for him. Funnily enough, they have like a brown water snake one, but they don't have Nerodia fasciata one. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get him out so I can show him off to you guys, because he has definitely grown since the last time you've seen him. This right here is Inadu, the Nerodia fasciata, or banded water snake. He is another absolutely gorgeous specimen. I will be saying that about all of my animals. But he is obviously just a juvenile, as this species can grow to lengths of 4 feet for the females and about 3.5 for the males. So he's tiny. He's probably maybe a foot long or less. In fact, he shed just recently. I'll throw in a picture of one of his sheds right now. But he's become an absolutely tame snake. When I caught him, yes, he is wild caught. He is not captive bred. I try to stick to captive bred for most of my animals, but this was the one exception where I caught him myself, so I wasn't getting him from an importer and supporting that. But if you would like to actually have a discussion about wild caught versus captive bred in the comment section, I would love to, because it can be very detrimental to species and everything, but for some species that are as proliferant as the banded water snakes, I don't feel that it has a noticeable impact at all. Not to mention, he was a juvenile when I caught him, so most likely he would have been eaten by a predator, as most of the juveniles are, but that's a whole different video that I could be talking about. But look at him. They're called the banded water snake because they have these bands that go down their flanks just like that. And most people say that these guys don't make very good pets, and I would honestly have to disagree. Most of them will musk on you and bite you. In fact, I caught some northern water snakes when I was on a trip recently, and whew, those guys love to bite, but they can tame down very, very, very well in captivity, especially if you get a captive bred. But even the wild caught ones, just like Inadu here, tame down very well. Like, he bolts, he sometimes does still bolt, but like you'll see that in baby corn snakes, obviously. But like, I would say he is more tame than a juvenile corn snake. He's not as flighty, but he's absolutely amazing. He's been to one educational outing so far. He loves chin scratches. He like lifts his head right up, and sometimes he'll like scratch his head on my fingers, which is adorable because he's just a tiny little snake. And this was the perfect pet snake for me, I would say, because some of my family is not comfortable with a giant snake like a carpet python or a boa constrictor, and is not okay with feeding rodents. And obviously, most snakes need to eat rodents in order to survive. But water snakes are one of the very few exceptions, as these guys are semi-aquatic in the wild and mainly eat fish and amphibians. So he's been on a diet of mostly minnows, but I have thrown in some frogs occasionally, and he just absolutely slams them. His feeding response is unparalleled in my reptile collection. He eats off of tongs. He'll eat if I put him in like a bowl, like a little critter keeper. He eats when I'm holding him. He's just amazing. He's been an amazing pet snake, and obviously banded water snakes are not the best pet snake for everyone. In fact, I would go ahead and say that for a lot of people, banded water snakes would not be okay, especially because, again, a lot of them are wild caught, and if you're not okay with that, these guys really are hard to find. Not to mention, they can be flighty, they'll musk on you, they'll bite you. It takes a long time to tame these guys down. This guy took me probably 6 months to get to the point where he is now. Just of constant work and work and work, because he used to bolt everywhere, but now he's almost head tame. Like, look at this. I can just touch his head and he's perfectly fine. And also, he's a native species where I live, so he's going to be a great educational ambassador, because in the wild, banded water snakes are often mistaken for the venomous water moccasin. And unfortunately, these guys will be killed because of it. Kind of backfires, that mimicry backfires when dealing with humans, which will just kill them. However, against their natural predators, it's a very good survival strategy. But these guys are just amazing snakes. I love water snakes much more than I thought I would. Definitely my favorite nature scene by far. But yeah. Also, Inadu, his name, is the Cherokee word for snake. I felt like, since these guys are native and prevalent where the Cherokee Native Americans live, I felt like I could kind of like almost go ahead and honor them, since they were obviously here first, with naming him Inadu, which is one of their words. I really love naming a bunch of my reptiles and amphibians based on the native language to where they're from, because obviously anthropology and culture is a very interesting concept for me. But that's not the topic of the video, it's reptiles. So this is also, look at that belly pattern. He's gorgeous. I'm getting really off topic. But this is Inadu, my banded water snake, my first ever snake that I've kept long term. And he's just been a joy in every sense of the word. So let's put him back and let's go to the next pair of reptiles and amphibians. Here are my only amphibians that I currently keep. These guys, where they have their own whole story, which I will actually leave an iCard to. You can watch a whole video about at least one of them. The other one, I will kind of get to his story in a minute. But yeah, these are my Dendrobates auratus, or Costa Rican green and black poison dart frog. These guys are the Costa Rican locale. I made sure to get 2 of the same because I got them at totally different intervals. In fact, one of them is the only animal that I've actually kind of purchased in 2020. But yeah, I will go ahead and get one of them out for you guys, because that is going to be a pain to do, but it will definitely be worth it so I can show you guys them. Also, this is their not bioactive, not yet, but this is their vivarium. You can see, I'll leave an iCard up in the corner to where you can see us actually making this vivarium, Talking Herber and I, obviously. But yeah, without further ado, let's actually get one of them out. This is Quiotl, and Quiotl is one of my Dendrobates auratus, or green and black poison dart frog they're the Costa Rican locale. I'm a lot more fidgety with this little amphibian more than I am with most of mine. But yeah, poison dart frogs in the wild have extremely poisonous toxins. However, in captivity, they are completely harmless. However, I still keep handling to a minimum because they're so small and fragile that just one wrong move can be disaster. Not to mention, I had to spray my hands with water beforehand to make sure that he doesn't absorb any of the chemicals in my skin. But they are gorgeous. They're often called the gems of the rainforest for an obvious reason, because just look at those colors. And they have something called aposematic coloration, which means they're brightly colored, so they're most likely poisonous. But these guys, just look at how beautiful he is. And Quiotl is the Aztec word for frog. So kind of going along with that native language name, Quiotl was actually the first one that I did that to. And Quiotl has an interesting story. He was a rescue, or she was a rescue. I'm pretty sure that Queottle's a female. Look at him hop around, or her hop around. I'm not sure. I know that one of them is a male because I've heard them calling lately, but they're a beautiful animal. The dart frogs have been a lot more fun than I expected. But yeah, I will go ahead and show you guys the other dart frog. But this is Queottle, the absolutely gorgeous Dendrobates auratus. And let's go ahead and get out my other Dendrobates auratus. This is my other. This is Talalic. This is actually the second ever time that I've ever handled him. And he is another Costa Rican Dendrobates auratus. He, I know, is captive bred because I got him from Sam's Flying Frog Ranch, which is a breeder that specializes in poison dart frogs. Let me see if I can get it to focus on him. But he is a beautiful animal. A beautiful Dendrobates auratus poison dart frog. And in fact, this is the mystery animal that I got in my Reptile Expo vlog a couple months back. I know it's a little bit late to kind of reveal that, but yeah, this is him. A lot of you guys guessed it was another Dendrobates auratus, but he has actually grown substantially since I got him. I don't want to stress him out too much, so I'm only going to handle him for this brief period of time, but much like Queottle, he's been a joy to work with. I'm not even going to touch him. I'm just going to let him sit. He's nice, fat, and happy. He's been chowing down on some fruit flies lately, and in fact, he's going to get some when I put him back. But yeah, I would definitely not recommend poison dart frogs for everyone, but they have been splendid for me to take care of. So yeah, I don't want to stress them out, so I'm going to put them back. But yeah, they're just extremely personable little animals. This next reptile was actually my newest one in my last video, but he is now definitely not, considering I have gotten a few more in the past few months since that video came out. But this large Exoterra is home to Leonard, my Coralophus ciliatus, or Crested Gecko. This is Leonard, the first of my two Crested Geckos, and Leonard was actually a rehome to me from a college student who could no longer take care of him, so they knew me, and they asked me if I wanted to take Leonard, and of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to work with such an amazing little animal. Leonard has been nothing but a joy, really, to actually work with in captivity, as he has been extremely docile and has only bolted a few times since I got him. He enjoys being handled so much. He will come and sit at the front of the tank and wait for me to actually get him out. And I handle him almost daily, and he's just great. He will eat off of my hand if I have some food, and he eats a powdered Crested Gecko diet. And that's actually the reason that Crested Geckos make such good pets, is that they don't have to eat insects, at least live insects like something like a leopard gecko would, is that these guys eat. I feed them this Repashy Crested Gecko diet, and this actually has ground up insects inside of it. And I do supplement them with live insects. Crested Geckos make great first reptiles, as they are pretty forgiving when it comes to husbandry. And what's he doing? He's such a klutzy and strange little Crested Gecko, but I love him dearly. And he is a Dalmatian, I think a Dalmatian Harlequin morph. I don't know Crested Gecko morphs very well, but I am planning on breeding him in the future, so he is part of my little Crested Gecko breeding project, which I will definitely film more about, and how to actually breed reptiles, especially Crested Geckos. But he is amazing, and I've talked about why he doesn't have a tail. He lost it in his previous home, And these guys don't grow their tail back. So once they lose their tail, they're known as frog butts because they kind of look like little frogs if they don't have it. But it doesn't really impact them that much. In fact, in the wild, almost every single adult Crested Gecko will not have its tail. But they're amazing little animals. So let's go ahead and move on to my other Crested Gecko, whose name is Raptor. And the last of the indoor reptiles is in this 12 by 12 by 18 Zilla enclosure, and this is Raptor, my other Crested Gecko, or Corlophus ciliatus. So let's get him out and let's talk about him. This right here is Raptor. He's about 3 years old, and he is a Crested Gecko, just like Leonard, who's in that tank right there. However, unlike Leonard, Raptor is not very hand tame, and that's simply just because I haven't worked with him as much about, just with trying to tame him down. When I first got him, I kind of did, but he just, whatever I kind of get better with it, he always seems just to revert back. And he has bitten me a couple of times, so I just kind of let him do his thing, and he actually comes out of his hides more when I don't handle him for longer periods of time. So I just kind of leave him to do his own thing, and I really enjoy watching him when he comes out at night. He's also a male, just like Leonard. Unfortunately, I don't have a female at the moment, but I'm planning to change that in the next few years, probably. I'd like to breed these guys. They're a fascinating and amazing species of gecko. However, unlike Leonard, Raptor has a tail. And this is because when they drop their tail, they actually don't regrow them, and Raptor has not dropped his tail, at least thus far. But he is a gorgeous animal. I'm pretty sure he's what's called a flame morph, which is it has to do with that big stripe down his back, and that's called a pinstripe. And also some of his size and his colorations. He has this beautiful orange coloration. He likes to jump. He has this beautiful orange coloration on his eyelashes, and it fades into that kind of cream yellow, and then down to the black on the tail, which I think is amazing. It's almost like a Neapolitan, I like to call it. But look at him. He's such an amazing animal. He was actually my second ever lizard. My second ever reptile, actually. I got him when I was in 6th grade, so when I was about 12, I would say, I got him. But he eats like a pig now. He eats so much. But he's just been a joy to work with. All of my animals really have. I've enjoyed working with every single one of them. So, this is Raptor, the Crested Gecko, and I'm gonna put him up, and let's move on to the next one. For these next few reptiles, I am actually going outside. I don't normally house reptiles outside due to North Florida's inconsistent temperature and humidity, but these are some of the only reptiles that I feel very comfortable keeping outside. And they, of course, are... oh, they're dinosaurs. These are my pet dinosaurs. I have my own little pack of them, and here they are. These are Coco, Tendy, Lemonade, Harriet, and Little Bite, my Gallus domesticus, or chickens. This right here is Tendy, and she is my personal Gallus domesticus. Chickens, they're chickens. There's not really much else to say about them. They're good pets. I mean, for most people, they lay eggs, so they give you food. The rest are actually coming out right now. Look at them, nibbling around. They're free range. They just go into the coop at night, and when we're not home, so things don't eat them. And she's putting her butt in my face. We hand raised them. It was a lot of fun. I love hand raising chickens. I love chickens. Chickens are amazing. Isn't that right? They're great. We have our own little flock of them. Here, let me offer her some food. You want some food? I don't think she's hungry right now, or is she? No, she's not. And hopefully she hasn't pooped on me yet. But yeah, look at that. She's not too happy to be held. They don't usually get held. They usually we kind of like let them do their own thing. But she's not flying off, which is surprising. What are you doing, Tendy? Ooh. I think she wants to get up on my head, which I don't really want, but look at her. Yeah, these are my only pet dinosaurs at the moment. Oh, there she goes. But yeah, these guys have been a lot of fun. Look at them. Just all hanging around, eating some grass. They love the shoots of the grass. I've been able to observe them a lot. If you want your own chickens, make sure you have a nice outdoor enclosure for them and a place where they can free range. But otherwise, chickens make very good pets, actually. They're surprisingly intelligent animals. They can recognize you. I used to have some who would, as soon as you walked outside, they would jump up and land on your arm if you held it out. We also only have hens, so we can get some eggs to eat because I love eggs. But yeah, kind of a joke saying that I have dinosaurs, but technically they are dinosaurs. So one of them needs help getting out, so I will see you back in the reptile room for the outro. So thank you all so much for watching this video. My reptiles are some of my most favorite things in the world, and if you don't have a reptile already, I would highly recommend getting one. You know, regardless of your age, even if you're just a little kid, definitely ask your parents first. But I think that almost anyone can enjoy having a pet reptile, and I certainly have. As for probably hopes or predictions, almost kind of what I'm hoping to work with in this next year until I do the next reptile room tour, I've been looking at something called the tiger-legged monkey frog, which is a really cool amphibian from the Amazon rainforest, and I found a few for sale, so I'm actually hoping to work with some of those this year. But I don't really know. I'd have to do more research, obviously, with the whole thing that's going on right now, for lack of a better word, so YouTube won't shut me down. That's kind of making it kind of hard to actually acquire new reptiles and amphibians. However, you know, you never know. But if you enjoyed this video, don't be afraid to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and leave a comment to which of these reptiles was your favorite, or any reptiles that you have, or I don't know, just let's talk about reptiles in the comments, and I'm always happy to do that. Without further ado, Costa, signing out.